At this point it seems everything is getting a movie. Modern films take inspiration from a variety of different sources, with similarly varying results. While I could take this opportunity to rail against the seeming lack of creativity in Hollywood, or to reminisce about how much better things used to be, that's not the kind of channel I want this to be. Instead, I've decided to work with the system. I recognise that adaptation can be a valid form of creative art. With that in mind, I've compiled a list of 5 film adaptations I would like to see. Now, I've listed these in order of how likely I think they are, not necessarily in order of how much I would like to see them. I've also tried to choose a variety of source materials. Let's begin. For those of you unaware, Pandemic is a cooperative board game first released in 2007. The aim of the game is to collaboratively cure 4 diseases which have broken out across the world by playing as one of 5 specialist characters. The game proved incredibly popular. In fact, it's been described as the best board game ever created. In addition to winning multiple awards, the game's success led to 3 expansions being released, each of which add new roles and special events. One of these expansions, Pandemic Legacy, added an ongoing storyline to the game, which could potentially be used as the basis for a film. Films based on board games aren't usually held in high regard, but I reckon they can be a lot of fun. I believe Pandemic could be adapted into a thrilling globe-trotting disaster film with a diverse ensemble cast. Taylor Swift's 2014 album, 1989, featured a number of hit singles, each of which was eventually accompanied by a music video. Arguably the most distinctive of these was the music video for Bad Blood. The music video was ambitious and epic. Taylor Swift promoted it like a feature film, releasing cast photos across social media. Put simply, I would like to see a full-length film based on the music video. Taylor Swift has demonstrated her acting ability in a handful of film and television roles, though, let's be honest, a Bad Blood film wouldn't exactly require an Oscar-worthy performance. I'd actually like to see the film given to Joseph Kahn, the director behind the original music video. Kahn has directed numerous music videos, both for Taylor Swift as well as other artists. However, his ability to handle narrative storytelling gained some attention with the release of his gritty Power Rangers short film in 2015. Taylor Swift notably rebranded herself for the release of her 2017 album Reputation. However, if Catastrophe can reassemble her team, I think a Bad Blood film could be a lot of fun to see. Growing up, I was a massive fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. Who am I kidding? I'm still a massive fan. The Railway series, originally written by the Reverend W. Awdry, was of course adapted into the highly successful TV show Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, beginning in 1984, though the title was later shortened to Thomas and Friends. The show did inspire the theatrically released feature film Thomas and the Magic Railroad in 2000. However, to date, this has been Thomas's only appearance on the big screen, barring a brief and rather unexpected cameo in Ant-Man. Years ago, a live-action film based on Thomas the Tank Engine was announced. It was said the film would be set around the time of World War II, coinciding with the initial publication of the books, and was originally scheduled for release in late 2010. It was later announced that Shane Acker, the director of Nine, would direct, and that Weta Digital would provide the film's visual effects. More on them shortly. I for one was incredibly excited by the prospect of a live-action film. Sadly, the proposed release date has been repeatedly pushed back, and the project is now looking increasingly unlikely. However, I am still interested in seeing a live-action Thomas film, especially if it took inspiration from the TV show. The show's first 12 series featured consistently impressive model work. The soundtrack too was of a quality far exceeding the expectations of children's television, cleverly incorporating train sounds into the music.
Come on, don't be silly, puffed Henry to the vans. The vans shuddered and groaned, trock, trick, all right. That is better, puffed Henry. Clouds of smoke and steam poured from his funnel into the cold air.
Allow me to demonstrate how easily these elements could translate to the big screen. by making a few minor alterations to the previous clip. For now, it seems this is the closest we'll get to a live-action Thomas film.
Lily, where are we?
Muffle Mountain, Thomas.
I think I feel a little dizzy. I can't go any further. My wheels won't let me.
Then I'll be back, Thomas. I promise, but I must find Grandpa.
It's getting windy up here.
Obviously, Kenneth Grahame's classic children's book has already been adapted several times, with mixed results. Personally, my favourite is the 1983 film. Nevertheless, I would like to see yet another adaptation. Many previous versions have, to put it lightly, failed to do justice to the source material.
The handsome Toad! The unstoppable Toad! The world has held its heroes, as history books have shown, but never a name to go down to fame compared with that of Toad! 50 years!
However, I believe advances in visual effects have made it possible for a combination of live action, scale models, and CGI to bring the novel to life in a way never before seen. The development of motion capture has made it possible for any actor to convincingly portray any type of character, including photorealistic animals, such as the characters in The Wind in the Willows. There is a long list of British actors I would love to see take on the iconic characters. For example, can you imagine Ian McKellen as Badger? Of course, the obvious company to handle the effects would be Weta Digital. Perhaps the production could even shoot on location in New Zealand, as parts of the country do bear a striking resemblance to the novel's English setting. Let's not forget there is also potential for sequels, based on William Horwood's 4 follow-up novels. We all know Hollywood loves franchise potential. It's no secret I am a massive fan of Doctor Who. In recent years, the show has become increasingly cinematic. It's certainly come a long way from its humble beginnings. However, unlike other long-running sci-fi shows, Doctor Who has never been given the big screen treatment. At least, not within the established continuity of the show. Doctor Who the movie premiered on television back in 1996. And more recently, certain notable episodes, such as the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, have been given limited theatrical runs. However, I would like to see a big-budget, theatrically released Doctor Who feature film. Back in 2012, director David Yates claimed he was working with BBC Worldwide to develop a Doctor Who film. However, this was quickly denied by then showrunner Stephen Moffat. Ironically, the biggest hurdle in getting a Doctor Who film made is the show itself. Having the two coexist would require careful planning. Then there's the question of which Doctor, or Doctors, to include in the film. Some have suggested that a film could chronicle the character's early years on Gallifrey, while others have said that it shouldn't tie directly into the show's continuity at all. Personally, I'm not a fan of either idea. While it may not happen anytime soon, I think it's almost inevitable that we will eventually see a Doctor Who film in one form or another. I would be happy to see any of these film adaptations become reality. Of course, if any of them do get made, I will claim full credit for the idea. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see any of these ideas realised. And feel free to share any other film adaptations you'd like to see. If you liked this video, why not give it a thumbs up? Maybe share it with a friend. Or an enemy. Either way, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications to see more content here on Channel 73.